their husbands. I mean, that is also, we'll have to keep our ears open and understand and try and catch hold. How do women, especially the non-English speaking women, introduce their husbands? If the husbands are saying as Mrs. and the Mrs. are not saying Mr., what are they using? Which is the word that they are picking on? I don't know. We'll have. I think we'll have to look at that. That's interesting. Okay, but we are looking at it from a very urban lens here. Urban intellectual deconstructing gender there, and that kind of a lens. So it's easy for us to nitpick on it, but I think the colloquial element of it really needs to be appreciated in a lot of ways, in different ways. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, but again, and that is the reason she put in. I mean, it's the simplistic, because that's how women speak, or that's how people speak in the rural belt, and that's why it's there. But why do people speak like that? So I mean, that is something as maybe as you were saying, the intellectual critics are nitpicking and trying to put things in order. Okay, so now coming to the next slide, there are two things which are there, which run through the film. These are two threads. Number one is, of course, Ghungat, which I don't want to talk much about it, because it's really been, people are talking about it, it's being written, and it's something that we've noticed throughout the film. Like the opening line of the film is like, where the rukhsati is happening, and the opening line of the film, एक बार घूंघट को ले लिया तो आगे नहीं, नीचे देखकर चलना सीखो. Again, what Kiran Rao has done, there are things with a deeper meaning. Every third sentence, every fourth dialogue has a deeper connotation. So it's not only about physically that she has to look down, but it talks about subjugation, that you have to be there. And then further ahead into the film, there is, what the filmmaker has tried to do is that it's going on beyond all caste, religion, faith, everything. So there is a person of a different faith where he is trying to go around with a photograph of his wife, and the wife is in a veil and only the chin is apparent and is visible. So he is going and trying to see कि इसको कहीं देखा है. So this gentleman says, face ही तो सब कुछ होता है, face ढक देना मतलब पहचान ढक देना. So he's talking about the missing identity, the hidden identity, and the wife comes from behind. I mean, in all probability, she's a wife. A woman comes, ek naqab posh sahiba hai. So what, this idea about covering the face runs across all faiths, and which is a very good intersection that she's brought forth. And again, I mean, the Ghungat thing it's being talked about, and I'm sure that you've noticed everything. I want to focus more on the fraud aspect. Now, this is something which Manju Mai has brought it out a couple of times, And the first thing that she says that इस देश में लड़की लोगों के साथ हजारों सालों से फ्रॉड चल रहा है, भले घर की बहू बेटी. When Phool tries to say, भले घर की बहू बेटी को खाना आता है, घर का सारा काम आता है, she does everything. Here Manju Mai talks about the conditioning. And she says, we think what we are thinking because we are conditioned to think like that, and which is a fraud. And he said, कि ये सालों से ये fraud चल रहा है हमारे साथ, because again, most of the time, and even this idea of conditioning goes ahead with the other genders also. It's not only about the women being conditioned, boys are being conditioned, So the idea about how certain things are so intrinsic, they are so into our systems, into our psychology, into our psyche, into our being, that we don't realize that it's something which is wrong that is being happening. And I further ahead, a couple of shots later, she says, देखने जाएं तो औरत को मर्दों की खास जरूरत नहीं है, पर अगर औरतों को पता चल जाए तो मर्द बेचारे का बैंड ना बच जाएगा. अब समझी क्या फ्रॉड चल रहा है. So she says, I mean, ideally the woman doesn't need a man to run everything, and she says, I तो chucked out my husband and my son because I was the earning member, and which is a very common phenomena, especially in the economically disadvantaged group, where the woman is the sole earner, and the men, I mean, they drink and they beat up the wife. And she said, and they would have, and she says, कहते तो प्यार में हाथ उठ जाता है, तो एक दिन हमने भी हाथ उठा दिया. And she says, and here, as in the beginning, what Professor Gulbardar James was saying about, the life of a single woman. And and somehow I felt that Manju Mai's character was the most powerful character in the film, even more than Jaya. Jaya did try and plan out her life, and she had that fire in her and everything. But Manju Mai had gone through her life. She had dealt with the issues. She had struggled. She had fought, and she had already emerged. And there was a businesswoman who was taking care of everything, and she was a catalyst. She was training people. She was like, even when she was talking to the customers, I mean, there was an adorable that chutney guy who was there on her stall, you know. So even that coming of that character and how she would treat people, or Chotu, or Pool for that matter, and perpetually she was talking about the idea of self independence. So but this thing about fraud is very interesting, how she brings forth the idea of conditioning, and how we think that what we're doing is correct. She said, no, bhale ghar ki bahu beti. This idea that has been forced into our psyche, into our minds, is the biggest fraud that one can think of. Again, the highlight about this film is it's not that one of those hard-hitting feminist films where everything is on the face. Okay, this is the problem and this is what has to be, and what this is subtle. And what she's done, and the idea of sisterhood doesn't really come across in many films that we watch in Hindustani cinema. The dialogues which comes through it, it's like, once Jaya appreciates कि बहुत स्वाद बनी है, and she says खाने की भी कोई तारीफ करता है. For a woman who's got grown children, a grandson, she doesn't realize that someone can actually appreciate the cooked food. He said खाने की भी कोई तारीफ करता है, and she's giggling over it, and she's sitting and she's giggling with her mother-in-law. And when Jaya says, अपने पसंद की ये कमल ककड़ी की सब्जी बनाओ, I said क्या अब औरतों का पसंद का खाना बनेगा? For her, it's something very new. And this idea, and Kiran Rao has put it in the most subtle fashion, that it is new for them. And she goes on and she realizes, and she goes on and says कि घर की औरतें सास नंद सब बन जाती हैं, सहेली नहीं बन पाती एक दूसरे की. And her mother-in-law jokingly adds, कि क्या अब हम सहेली बने? And then she says, okay, let's try. But even prior to that scene, once Deepak comes with the wrong wife, and the aarti thing is going to happen, and then the mother-in-law says कि एक मन्नत का घी का दिया लगाओ. So there is a kind of a nook which goes on. It's not at all bitter. What Kiran Rao has also done is that these are not stereotypical women that we see largely on cinema, that the Nand has to be really bad, or the Jethani has to be nasty, or the mother-in-law and the mother-in-law's mother-in-law. Everyone is like, they are comfortable with each other. They have their problems, because if the Dadi wants to do the aarti, the mother doesn't like it, and ultimately, acha tum hi kar lo. And then she says, हाँ, uske karte karte to aap mar jayenge, aap hi kar lijiye. So it is, that element of humor is there, but that realism is overpowering. It is not. It doesn't, it doesn't blow out of proportion at anything. The high point is definitely the language of the film. Ladies,
can I comment here for a while? Just about the issues like fraud, Gongat, bail. On one hand, these are the genuine realities that deserve artistic exploration. But on the other, we have a poverty porn debate about India, that why Slumdog Millionaire at that time. What are we celebrating actually when Slumdog Millionaires went to Oscars, and now Lapata Ladies? Is it that the West's valid criticism that Western audience often reward Indian films that confirm their pre-existing notions, I mean white man's burden, about India, like poverty, oppression? So how to maintain that balance, that we are showing progress, we are showing change, and we are showing our genuine social realities? How would you address this?
See, I know this criticism is always there, that films like Salaam Bombay Go or Slumdog Millionaire is also there, or even Lagan for that matter when it went. However, this is a part of the society. And if we say we as a society is also changing and things are being depicted, but in Lapata Ladies, you do not have a very stereotypical notion of poverty. And it's not so poverty all the time. And it's not a hard-hitting fight for survival kind of a thing. So, I mean, I don't think we can be comparing Slumdog or Salaam Bombay with Lapata Ladies. And when these films are being sent for the Oscars, it's not that they are choosing it. It's our board which is deciding and sending it across, isn't it?
I also want to come in here that when we are talking, this is also artistic creation. I mean, where is the license that you're giving them for freedom there? So somewhere along the line, and here it's an interpretation of a reality which, we need to, it's not something that we want to hide and be shameful about. And very honestly, when we talk about patriarchy and the way it's manifest, it's there in the West as well and in Western societies, but the manifestation is different. So, if we want to just look at the attire and say that this is the way it's projected and, we're downplaying our own society, there's an issue there. Somewhere we need to be, fine, we are projecting it. The fact that we are discussing it, I think, is important. And that it's going. There must be some sense in, it going for Oscars. I remember there being a dialogue, there being a whole dialectic, which my mother told me about, was when Satyajit Ray's films were going. Nargis, as a Rajya Sabha member, had made a point that, he's trying to sell up poverty abroad. And these are issues which will always remain. So somewhere along the line, we need to, put this in perspective and just look at artistic freedom here in that sense of the term. So it's not as if we are trying to glorify or underplay anything. And that's important. And the fact that we are freely doing that, I think, shows there's a movement there and there's a dynamic there. So I don't know if you concur with that, Sabha, but yeah.
Absolutely. I completely agree with what you're saying. And that's what I'm saying. And these films are chosen by our own people. It's not that they pick it up. So we pick it up from a pool, and absolutely the artistic freedom, and we cannot negate that certain things are happening in the country and they have to be talked about and made films into. And Howard, thank you for the question, because not only it opens another dimension, but also it breaks the monotony. So the next slide is also on language, and we talk about how certain words, when the favorite character of the film, we've not talked about him till now, Ravi Kishan. He takes the cake and he's done the most fabulous job of his own career, I think. So, he's perpetually cracking a joke. And I remember once I had watched an interview where he says, it's very difficult to play a character, someone who's chewing pan all the time, because, because on screen it's Amitabh Bachchan who does that, and you don't want to look like him. So he had to keep in mind that he had to look himself and not try and imitate Mr. Bachchan. So he's always a character who's cracking jokes. And Dubey ji jo unke wo the sub inspector or something, he says, "Sir, majak like karte hain." So again the word majak is like, it's a mazak is majak, and like karte hain. So this idea about using of these, how the conversation in the rural belt at Nirmal Pradesh, as this fictional town, which is the fictional state which is there, how the sentences are peppered with these English words, majak like karte hain. And this also talks about the struggle and the idea of to look better or to sound cool, where they struggle to speak English. Deepak, and I think that's the most beautiful and the most romantic scene of the film, where he's struggling to impress his newly wedded wife, and he says, कि हम English बोल कर बताएं, कल हम कूलर के बोटर में binding करा के आए. So and he said, and with the struggle that he does that, and then he later on he really struggles even further to say I love you. And the idea of being able to speak in English is a benchmark where they want to reach. And another point about going beyond English is, again, Manjumai's line, कि तुम्हारी अम्मा ने तुम्हें बुड़बक बनाया है. Now, buड़बक is again a word from the rural belt, and where you're thinking about, I don't know, buड़बक would be किसी लायक नहीं when you can't even think of yourself, or you don't know what to decide. And buड़बक comes later on. It's again used towards the end of the film by Ravi Kisan as Inspector Shyam Manohar, where he says, ये सब बुड़बक हैं. So these are people who are maybe very simpletons who don't know. And Manjumai uses it for Phool over here. Like, you don't know the ways of the world. You're not street smart at all. I mean, you know how to live within the house, but you can't survive for yourself. So you are good for nothing. कि तुम्हारी अम्मा ने तुम्हें बुड़बक बनाया है. And she's not blaming the girl. She's blaming that you've not been brought up well. Again, connection to the conditioning that we were talking earlier. Another aspect throughout the film is like it has extremely idiomatic references. When they're going to the thana, so Deepak's father says, थाने में समस्या बताओ हैसियत नहीं. He said, घड़ी उतारो, कमीज बदलो. You realize that this is a lot of people who are not educated, but wisdom has got nothing to do with some degree. So these are very wise people. So he says, समस्या बताओ हैसियत नहीं, because he knows कि अगर वो हैसियत बताई तो the police wala will expect some kind of a bribe, and which he was absolutely correct. And even in the beginning when Deepak tells Phool कि ना जेवर उतार के रख लो, because I mean if you lose the jewelry, that's one issue. उससे बड़ी मुसीबत है थाना. So they have that apprehension of going to the police station, of the police officers, of the life in a thana. It's about, अच्छे लोग नहीं जाते हैं थाने में, so that idea. But throughout the film, you find n number of idiomatic references and how things go on. Again, this is something that we've been talking about at length, about patriarchy. But again, as I've been saying, that at the cost of repeating myself, it's not in the face patriarchy. It's most subtle. So, like for example, when Jaya has come here mistakenly, and when Deepak's father asks something about something, and then she responds. So the moment she speaks, everyone is in a state of shock, and that element of shock, and they're confused. And they're further shocked when she tells the name of her husband. There is a long thing कि मियाँ का नाम नहीं लेना है. Till finally you see when Phool calls out at the station, Deepak. So she's also evolved, and of course, marriage, education, dowry. I mean, something as important as painful as dowry. Here, the filmmaker and her team has brought in forth in a most humorous manner. Jaya's mother-in-law, that scene when she's in the coach and she's most intrusive, and she doesn't know who this person is, Deepak, but she feels his coat and she says, कि हमारे प्रदीप को कोट इससे मतलब अच्छा सूट मिला है. And then he keeps on saying कि क्या मिला है, and there are people talking about motorcycle मिली है, mobile phone मिला है. And when Deepak does not respond, she says, जरूर लड़के में खोट होगा. So if a guy is not getting a good enough dowry, so there is some problem with the guy, So we get back to our idea of conditioning, to the idea of, but this issue of dowry has, and again it keeps on recurring throughout कि ना जया को कितना जेवर मिला है, वो जेवर लड़का रखेगा कि लड़की रखेगी. So it keeps on, it's being discussed all the time.
Professor?
Yes, Professor Fatmi said it's a good critique on patriarchal structure and traditional gender roles, highlights women's struggles for agency and empowerment amidst societal expectations. Emphasis is on the importance of female solidarity and intersectionality in addressing the complexities of women's rights in contemporary society. Correct, sir. Absolutely, sir. This is what I was trying to sum up. Thank you. And another important aspect that comes forth is organic farming. Although I was a little confused, I was confused about the fact that had this aspect of farming, or this Jaya's idea about farming, had it been that what she wanted to open a beauty parlor, would we have approached it in the same lens? Again, these are very speculative things, as maybe just be trying to nitpick or being very critical. But this idea about Here it is as a woman who didn't want to get married because she wanted to study more. She was a bright girl, but she was forced into marriage by her mother, by her parents and her mother largely. And the idea of, and this film is set in 2001, although it's made this year 2024, but when it starts, if you notice, it's set in 2001. So that was a time when we were really talking about the organic farming was coming up at that time, and especially in India. So here we are, that we are talking about how things were, and there's Kiran Rao has managed to bring in another aspect, and the film has only sailed through because of the humor that it has, right from the beginning, when just shubh din shaadi karke sab Shankar Parvati ban jate hain. So it's just like people are saying these sentences in jest, but all these sentences are powerful sentences, like Jess talking to Phool's sister-in-law, Bhabhi, गूंगा औरत से शादी करने के लिए बहुत हिम्मत चाहिए, because she remains so quiet, she doesn't speak. So and then all of a sudden the poor woman, she says, नहीं हम बोलते हैं, and then says, why don't you speak, kind of a thing. But instead of just saying कि आप बोला करिए, there is this element of humor throughout. I mean, if we start pulling out the dialogues which has humor in it, I mean, we'll only have and again, once Deepa goes to the police station, he says, कि मेरी बीवी खो गई है. So now the police inspector is most funny. He says, कैसे खोई, हम तो कब से कोशिश कर रहे हैं. And later on he says, कि मतलब तुम तो इतने बढ़िया हो कि तुम्हारी खो गई हो, तुम दूसरे की भी उठा लाए हो. So something as a situation as grave as that, or in the end, once Jaya goes away, and she says, "नहीं, लड़की बहुत दूर जाएगी." So Dubey ji has to whip in, and he says, "हाँ, Dehradun 800 kilometer दूर है." So even he laughs. So the idea for inclusion of this element of humor is that you sugarcoat the most important things and you present it. It becomes even more palatable. People enjoy it, and you look at all the issues which come through. I think that was the last slide. Yes.
Dr. Sabha, even the consent there, that वो नहीं जाना चाहती तो वो नहीं जाएगी.
Yes.
Is that
absolutely? So he closes the case, and then he takes his bribe also, and then he says, that case is closed, but the idea of that she's an adult, wo balik hai, and then she says that she would not go. I think there are a couple of comments. Aparna Dikshit has written, though the film raises the issues of women empowerment in terms of mobility, marginality, and modernity, but I find there is sanitized treatment of rural reality, which is problematic, and it could be because of looking at reality from a distance. Absolutely. I also thought so. There were certain things which were very, in the sense they were artificial, and they did not seem very real, and it looked like one was looking at a distance. It was true.
Can I just...
Yes.
Yeah, just a quick question because it's over. Dr. Sabha, first of all, it was a very interesting discussion. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And you very effectively spoiled a lot of movies. So, Lapata, I'm Dr. Amina from Sarojini Naidu Center. And Lapata Ladies is more like, Shakespearean comedy of errors centered on mistaken identity. And this whole, it happens through this whole concept of veiling that comes, and how it has been, there's been a calibrated concealment. So the two ladies, the way they use this veiling to, in the case of Jaya and Phool, for example, Phool, we see she's trapped because of that, they're like body doubles because of the Khungat. And then we see Jaya, how effectively she uses veiling to get out of the bad marriage. So, do you think, I want you to comment on this, and also thematically, there's one scene in the movie, it has one wedding photograph, where he's moving everywhere and asking if, you've seen my wife, and the wife is completely in Ghungat. So obviously her face, her identity. So there is a comment that says that, the face is the only identity and there is no face here. So then immediately thereafter, there is this image of a burqa-clad woman that appears, and it evokes a lot of laughter. It just, you end up laughing, after that comment, you see this image. And then I want you to reflect on, how is this, is it used as a comic relief? What does it speak of then the narrative of the wailing, as how Kiran Rao wants? Do you think it's too simplistic? I just want to hear your comments.
Yeah. See, Jaya is a very bright woman. The moment she gets off the train, she knows that she's with the wrong guy. But she carries on because she knows the kind of a man that she's married into. So she willingly keeps on going ahead because she did not want to go back. So you're right when you say that, she's taking it for her betterment and she's using it. But about that Nakapoi Sahiba, I don't think it's a comic relief. The Whale is a comic relief at any point in the film. As I was saying, the humor in the film is only sugarcoating the important things, so that it's a pill that we take it in. With the humor, it's easy to take in. Otherwise, if it becomes very preachy, where you're only talking about certain things. So you take it in, you understand, and you ponder over it, you reflect over it, you keep on thinking about it. And the Nakaposh woman coming is talking about, and which is also a kind of a thing that it's gone across different accounts, different stratas, different faith. So the idea of Whale is not only it's for one section of the society. It goes across the strata about different faiths, different religions, different class horizons, caste horizons. So that is what is the idea, and it is just that she brings it forth, and that's the reason I did not speak a lot on the Whale, because even right from the beginning, that's the most apparent thing. Ghungat is the most apparent thing. Yes, Zoiba has raised her hand.
Yeah, ma'am, my question was to be labeled as independent women, should we leave everything behind and then be labeled as independent?
See, being an independent woman is you can do what you want to do. So, and one has to be, not be a burbak and be intelligent enough and have the strength to be. You don't have to leave behind anything and everything. So, maybe they come up with a sequel to the film where Phool is very happy with the family and she has a Kalakand ki dukan. She's selling that mithai that she was making. One has to be independent, and one can be independent if they can think for themselves, take decisions on their own.
Even the Phool became determined that when she meets her husband, and she will be definitely opening some new venture and start earning. Yeah. She took inspiration from Manju Mai.
Yeah, that's what she can all make that Kalakant ki dukan.
I love the way he said the Phool. I don't know which Phool he was talking about. But that also became a little ironic, the Phool.
Yeah. There
are a couple of comments I'll just read. There's again by Professor Fadmi. Thank you, sir, for being so indulgent. He writes, it employs local Indian words and colloquial expressions to enhance authenticity and cultural resonance, reflecting the everyday realities of women in India. This linguistic choice not only fosters relatability, but also highlights the unique socio-cultural context of the characters' struggles and aspirations. Absolutely, these are the reasons, and that is why the film is so realistic in temperament. And Dr. Surya Tabassum, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, if we have questions, we can, if there are any more questions, we can.
Anyone? Any comment or a question?
I think Zoiba has her hand up.
I think she asked and then...
Oh, she forgot to put it down. Okay. I think you took this on an amazing terrain, Sabha, and I love the deconstruction of films in general, and we hope to have this as a, comparing a few of them. And look at the gender lens, not just from a women's perspective the next time, because it tends to become very, very, only that perspective. I think we should look at other areas, masculine one and beyond the binary and stuff like that as well, which, I mean, you've really put in a whole lot of elements, including, intersectional elements therein. But it was absolutely amazing the way, you took a whole terrain there and the comparative element. So actually, we'd like to have you for other, like a film critique as well on other films that you please identify and, kind of tell us. And we can look at that because maybe little clips. And meanwhile, maybe we can even have a screening of even things like Shohini's Night Fairies, for instance. It's such a serious issue and it's been taken in it's hilarious the way it's been taken and the irony within it, which I find in Lapata Ladies as well. That if you can, and there was one film by Shyam Benegal, I forget the name, which is like again, set rurally with a trajectory of the issues and concerns that I forget the name. That also has drawn out in really a funny way all the issues. Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't remember the name of the film, but that's also. So when you draw in humor, I think a lot of the thing becomes, and that's important in life. Sorry, what's it called? Sorry?
Okay.
Arfar, are you saying something? Arif, are you saying something? Okay. So, and when you draw in the humor, you look at things from a different lens. And that, I think, is beautifully that you've also drawn it out beautifully when you're talking about Lapata Ladies. And that was, the USP of the film. And I think that's why also it's, kind of gone places the way it has in various ways, irrespective of the fact that the whole comedy behind everyday, instances that are there. So amazing, and thank you. Okay, Sheikh Arif has raised his hand. He is faculty in political science department, contractual at the moment. Yes, Arif.
Good morning to everyone. Ma'am, I think good afternoon to everyone. I think the movie is going on. I should sing 2 lines from the same movie so that it will.
Please. Yes, please.
Oh, yes, please do that.
I think everybody should take part in the song. So 1, 2, 3. O sajini re, कैसे कटे दिन रात, कैसे हो तुझसे बात, तेरी याद सताए रे, ओ सजनी रे. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
So sweet, so sweet. Sabha, that was a very sweet finale.
Absolutely. It couldn't have been summed better. It couldn't have been summed better. So.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Arif, for that. And the courage to do that, more importantly. You can see all the... yeah. Thank you so much.
Dr. Sabha.
Thank you so much. We are going to close the discussion. And the last word, I know our gentleman here is dying to have, Atfar. I want to thank Atfar before I give him the vote of thanks there, because he was really keen on putting this together and, getting in touch with you and organize, and it kept getting postponed. And I'm so sorry it happened on a day that again we had to, move it to an online mode. But I think it worked better because we had participation over, coming and going, but about 60 people, which normally we would not have got. So in that sense, because I put it on whatever platform that I could. I'm not on social media. And a lot of people ask me, please send us the link and things like that from organizations like HIPAA, from JNU, from DU and stuff like that. So I'm sure one odd person have joined. We'll figure that out. So I think it worked out in that sense better. And of course, we need to have you again on this platform. Over to you, Atfar.
Thank you, ma'am. Your mentorship and support continues to be the cornerstone of our academic and outreach activities. We thank you for your tireless and unconditional support always. The vote of thanks is going to be, delivered by our student Zoiba. But let me say before that, Sabha, you are an extraordinary mind. You took us through the intricate layers of gender dynamics, social structures, weaving complex theoretical frameworks into the fabric of the popular cinema. Even you dealt with the linguistic part of it with your remarkable elegance, as always. Your ability to make profound academic concepts accessible and engaging has left an indelible mark on all of us. So we will be bothering you in future too. And for a formal vote of thanks, I invite Zoiba. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone who was here.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Sarojini Naidu Center for Women's Studies, I'll be presenting the vote of thanks. Firstly, we would like to thank Dr. Sabah Bashir for being the part of this discussion and providing a wide spectrum of opinions and for analyzing the film critically, while also providing some wonderful perspectives. We are humbled by your presence for this discussion, ma'am. Thank you so much. We would also like to thank Professor Zubaida Ansari, the Honorary Director, IQAC, for gracing the event for her presence. We would like to thank Professor Bulbul Dhar James, the Honorary Director of Sarojini Naidu Center, whose support and guidance was instrumental for this discussion. Ma'am was always there with us, and because of her encouragement, we are able to conduct all such events. Thank you so much, ma'am. We would like to thank Dr. Atfar sir for being the coordinator of this film discussion, and he's been always with us for the whole time. We would now like to thank all the faculty members of Sarojini Naidu Center for Women's Studies and other faculty members for the Department of Jamia Millia Islamia for their presence in the discussion. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the research scholars, students of the center, and all the participants for enthusiastically taking part in the discussion and making it more engaging. Thank you so much for all your presence.
I want to thank all our volunteers, Zoiba, Shubhangi, Vaibhav, who have been, and their team, who have been instrumental in making this program a success. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Sabah. Thank you, Professor Bulbul, ma'am. Thank you so much, and thank you all for joining us and for being there from 11 to 12:20 now. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sabah.